Greetings all and welcome back to Globbits Gaming Channel. Right, this little thing here, I'm going to do a quick garage review and a few games on this tank. Now, I implore you, if you have the opportunity and the finances, you need to buy one of these vehicles. You need to have this in your life. This is the German Tier 7 tank destroyer, alright, the E-25. The Mighty Mole. Okay, this thing is, well, let me start off the bat before we start the review. This tank is freaking awesome. It is a whole barrel of laughs. Downside to it though, ladies and gentlemen, is you've only got 5 days left. Okay, Wargaming are removing this tank from the in-game shop. You can no longer buy it. I don't believe you can. Can you buy it from it? No, you can no longer buy it with gold. All right, it was removed from the in-game tech tree, if you like, so you can buy it with gold. Your Panzer IV-S and all the other tanks are still there, but this tank isn't. It used to be, and there's only 5 days left, and it's on offer. Okay, I can't remember the exact number. All right, but I think it's about a 20% discount. Okay, so you're getting it for around about £20, I believe. Might be a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure. You've got to get one. Here's why. Right, I'm going to go through it slowly. Now, this tank is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, it's not the stats that make this tank. It's just the tank in general. Okay, it looks cool as hell. Alright, I do not know how 4 guys sit in this thing. That is for sure. Okay, 830 hit points. Okay, not that great. Tank destroyers do suffer. I mean, let's compare it to another Tier 7 tank destroyer. Let's have a look at the tech tree. Let's have a look at Sturmmehl. Okay, Sturmmehl has 850. Jagdpanther has 850, so it's got slightly less than its counterparts in the German tech tree. But to be honest with you, it's not this tank's strong point. It's not designed to take hits. Now, it does mean though you can take 2 122mm shells if they roll low, okay, or roll sort of average. So you can take 2 solid hits. It doesn't weigh much. 29 tons isn't fantastic. It can survive a ram from things like Chaffies, not so much from a Leopard, things like that, but from Chaffies and the lighter tanks, you know, your ELCs and all the rest of it. It's not a ramming tank though. It's pushed around though by a significantly powerful 700 horsepower engine, which means power to weight ratio is very, very good. Let's just have a quick look see at it. Alright, where's my... Oh, hang on, wrong button. Let's have a look at the specific power if it comes up. I can't see it in there because it's not there anymore. Specific power, it's good. Alright, let's keep it that it's good. 65 kilometers an hour top speed, it can easily attain that, and its terrain resistance is very, very good as well. A 44-degree traverse speed, which is good considering it's a front-facing tank destroyer. Alright, so 44-degree traverse is very, very good. The armour is negligible. 50mm at the front. It is slightly angled. You've got quite a trollish little gun mantlet here. You can bounce shots with it. You can bounce things. It's the size of the vehicle and the mobility of the vehicle that's going to give you the protection, though. Okay. Okay, so the gun. We'll come back to that because it's a beautiful, beautiful... Oh! I've just got myself a Pack 40. Check that out. More on him later. Okay, more on him later. Anyway, £2 in the gift shop for that thing, by the way, guys. If you've got a spare £2, get yourself one because they're hellish fun. Anyway, traverse speed of the gun, 44 degrees. Now, the thing about the gun is it's got a very wide arc of fire. Okay, normally with rigid tank destroyers, if they've got a very narrow arc of fire, you have to traverse the body of the tank and turn the actual tracks. If you do that, you have to reset the aim. Okay, but this thing can probably shoot sort of maybe a good 30 to 35 degree gun traverse. It's very, very handy for relocating for those shots that are targets of opportunity. Now, view range is 360 meters. I use binoculars. All right, it gives me 400 meter view range. I'm going to come back to that. All right, signal range 710. Okay, it's not about the tank. It's about the gun on this thing. You basically get the 7.5cm Pack 42 L70 gun, which is the same gun as the Stug. Alright, I believe. I mean, statistically, I think it's exactly the same as the gun on the Stug. Let me just double check. Stug G, where are you? There we go. Yeah, it's exactly the same gun as what you get on the Stug. Alright, the Stug's Tier 5. This is Tier 7. But it gets significantly buffed. Alright. The rate of fire is ridiculous. You get 20 rounds a minute with the gun on the E-25. The Stug, 13.33. Now that's not shabby. At Tier 5, that is really good. The penetration and damage are exactly the same as the Stug gun, but the accuracy and the aiming time are ridiculously better than the Stug. Alright, so how is this going to affect the tank? Well, It's got a very high rate of fire. It's very, very accurate. 150mm of penetration at tier 7. It gets limited matchmaking. This tank will not see tier 9s, which for me makes it amazing. It will not see E-25s. It will not see fucking ST1s. It will not see all the other overpowered tier 9 vehicles, like the tier 9 Russian medium, for example, the T-54. If this thing met a T-54, it would just get creamed. So it only gets tier 8 matchmaking. Be careful when you're platooning with this thing. Okay, don't go with other tier 7 tanks because you may get shoved in a tier 9 match and you will not do very well at all with a tier 5 gun at tier 9. But anyway, it's the rate of fire. It gives this tank a potential average damage per minute of 2,700, which is amazing. Okay, it's absolutely amazing. Let's just compare that to the Sturm Mill. Okay, average damage per minute, 2,250. Jag Panther, 2,132. What else is a high firing gun? 87, 2,000. T-25-2, 1,800. T-25 AT, 1,900. Russians, not as good as the Su-122-244. That's the other tank of choice for me. I don't know why this thing is still in the game at tier 7. Anyway, 2,300. 2,000. This thing has probably the second highest, I believe, at tier 7. It's the second highest DPM tank destroyer in the game. Alright, it's really, 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 really good. The problem is, though, it's the 150mm penetration. If you're not sure on that, buy some gold ammo. But it's a premium tank, guys. Now, equipment setup. I go for rammer, vents, optics. The way I play this vehicle, you've got two choices. Well, you kind of do both in a game. You first start of the game, you're going to be sitting in a bush doing tank destroyer things. Now, the advantage over these tanks to standard tank destroyers is the standard tank destroyers were nerfed. All right, basically their ability to retain their camo rating when they fire through bushes or fire in general has been significantly taken away. That didn't happen to the premium tank destroyers, and this thing's camouflage rating is ridiculous. I'm going to give you an example of that in the first replay. All right, Stevie does a wonderful job. Okay, an example of that camo rating. This thing, if it's behind a bush, they have to get literally in front of you, within 50 metres to see you. If you shoot, obviously you're going to lose a bit of that camo rating, but up to 250, 300 metres, average Russian tank is not going to see you. They're not going to see you. The camo rating on this vehicle is amazing. So the first half of the game, you're going to be sitting in bushes. Now, some people, in fact, the most common setup that people use is camnet, get rid of the gun, camnet, binos, and either vents or rammer. I don't like the binos and the camo net because you don't sit still for that long. Basically, what I do with this thing, I do the traditional tank destroyer thing first, and then in the second half to maybe the middle to the later half of the game, I use the mobility. And binos and camo, yeah, you're used to in that half of the game. This gives you a passive 10%, which puts you up to 400 metres. You're not going to be the one in front in this vehicle. I don't use this thing to get in front. If you get in front and you're in front of everybody else, you can't put this gun to work because you can't get shot back at because you haven't got the health. So I usually sit back. All right, use the gun, use the accuracy, use the rate of fire. All right, I don't sit in bushes. All right, for most of the game. So therefore, I don't go for binos and camnet. Now, whether you agree or disagree with that, it's up to you. I don't mind. I mean, but I go for vents. I want it to be more maneuverable. 5% of this stat line is a lot. Plus 20 for rate of fire, extra 5% on top of that, extra 5% on the 44 traverse, extra 5% on the top speed, 5% on the terrain resistance. For me, it makes more sense than binos that you're only going to be using for the first half of the game. Guaranteed, in the later stages of a game, when you're on your own, for example, yeah, you need that extra pip of view range. Well, 6 and 2 3s because they can't fucking see you either. So, you know, yeah. Anyway, we digress. So, I carry 55 standard rounds and 5 HE. In fact, I'm going to change that because I no longer fire HE out of this gun because I got caught short with it. I'll put 5 premium rounds in it. In fact, no, I'll take 15. I'll take 15 premium. Nope, too many. 15 premium rounds. Reason for this? Firing HE out of this gun? Fucking pointless. It's a low alpha gun, guys. There's no point. You may as well just take ammunition. It's a premium tank as well, so keep your APCR to a minimum. I only use that in case I get in tier 8 games and face things like Tiger 2s, etc, etc. So, let's put this tank to work then and show you why you should be parting with 20 of your finest English pounds. So, over to the games. Right, and here goes nothing. We've got Stevie D and Devilius, or Devilus. in their E-25s. They are on a standard game on Live Oaks. Now, I particularly think this is one of the maps that should be basically redone and removed, because I just do not like the fact there's a fucking huge lake in the middle of the map, and it gives you options, 2 options. You either go south or you go north. Now, the traditional tank destroyer spot is on this hill here, and that's where Stevie's going to go for the initial part of this battle.
Let's go.
Alright, now, change the tanks. Now, okay. First half of the game then. Stevie D does use binos, camo net, and I assume either rammer or vents. I would assume rammer. This thing's rate of fire is ridiculous. It reloads every like 2.1 seconds. I've got it down to like 2 seconds with my crew. I use my Borsig crew, and it's my Warmantel Borsig crew. This is the thing about these tanks. Never ever ever buy crews for these tanks, okay? You can use the Warmantel Borsig crew. You can use German tank destroyer crews. Now, the aiming circle is a little bit haywire here. I think Stevie uses server reticle, alright, and I think he has a little bit of a lag issue. And he also uses a aiming modifier, an aiming mod. I don't particularly like this, Stevie. I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. I think you get let down by this mod quite a lot in this battle. Alright, now Devilish there kind of makes a little bit of a boo-boo. He goes and drowns himself. Stevie takes it in good spirits. Alright, now, this tank is very, very low profile. Yeah, it's very, very small vehicle. You can come a cropper when you're in water. I think at the time, Devil was trying to get to the position in E6. I wasn't particularly watching there. You can drown in water that wouldn't drown other tanks. Now, this is what I mean about this aiming thing. I think it's a ×30 aiming mod. It lets you down here, dude. I know you can see that E-25 a little bit easier, but I don't like the fact that it zooms in so far. Perfectly honest with you, with the accuracy of this gun, okay, you probably could use it, but something with a little bit less accuracy, there's not a lot of point seeing that close. But it's up to you, though. I understand that, but I think you get let down. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does the mod sort of hamper him slightly in this match? Does anybody actually use the server reticle? I personally don't. I don't like the fact that the server reticle hovers. Some of the mod packs you can get give you a separate reticle that you can see where the server reticle is, and with a reference to where your reticle is. You can wait for the two to marry up. But I don't like the fact with the standard aiming mod, the standard sight mod, or standard sight, that it just wanders and hovers. I don't like that. So what's Stevie doing here then? Well, he's shooting at togs, which is punishable by death by dismemberment. But he's sitting at the back, alright, and he's putting the gun to work. Like we said, it's a tier 5 gun, or a tier 6 gun on a tier 5 tank destroyer. It's more than enough to go through the sides of the vehicles in the early game, though. Premium matchmaking. Tog. Poor thing. Didn't manage to get a second shot into the Tog there. It's in the second half where this tank really comes into its own. At the moment, we got an E-25 breakthrough. Stevie's been caught napping on the side of the hill. Right, time to relocate. Use the low profile of the tank and turn around. Now, these E-25s have done what I sometimes do. A little bit too early for my liking. They've seen an opening. For me, though, they've done it a little bit too early. With the hindsight's 2020. These are really good players in those E-25s. I think they've done the right thing, but they've just done it a little bit too early. And what's happened now is they've become sandwiched between the tanks in the south, Stevie on the hill in this ARL, and they're just going to get annihilated. A lucky shot there. Lucky with the server reticle there. This ARL's gone off to chasing this E-25. This E-25 is absolutely screwed. Yeah, it's just inevitable what's going to happen here. You get some good damage into him, though. Fantastic. Picks up his second kill. He's used a significant amount of his ammunition already, though. This thing only gets 60 rounds of ammo, and it only does 150 average damage. You do need to be kind of, how can I put it, conservative with your ammo towards the early stage. Now, this is what I was saying about the camo rating. He's firing. He's sat in the open, and he's shooting this IS. Okay, and this IS cannot see him. Alright, his sixth sense hasn't gone off, and this IS just doesn't know where he is. Neither does his KV-85. And we're just putting rounds after rounds after rounds into it. Now this is where this aiming thing's letting him down. KV-85 is looking at him. He hasn't seen him yet, though. He still hasn't seen him. And he's dead. The other thing that actually spots him is the Tog.
Tug moving forward actually spots him. Now Stevie, if we get the replay there, is just over 200 metres away. He's 200 and maybe 50 metres away. He's in the open and they couldn't see him. And he's shooting at them. That is the power of the camera rating of this vehicle. He just drops down behind the thing just in case the IS gets him. And now for me it's time to move. It's time to go. And Stevie, as he does, decides to relocate. Now he decides to relocate here. Me personally, I would go and pressure that IS. You've got the support of the ARL, well, inverted commas, hopefully, got support from the ARL. But he decides to relocate into another bush. Now this would be my turn to go. This would be when I would go. But, you know, 6 and 2 threes. He's gone 4 kills. He's done 2,000, well, nigh on shy of 3,000 damage. He's running significantly low on standard ammunition. He's only got 3 rounds. Now, what he does here, he waits for the IRL to find the IS and spot him again to hopefully get some more damage from distance. In the south, things aren't looking that great in the south. They're not working together in the south at all. One tank's going forward, the others are sitting at the back, and they're getting picked off one by one, which is a bit of an issue. And the VK there, as you can see, voices his displeasure at the current state of events in chat. So, IS is spotted, ARL. Now we're using the mobility. Look how quick this thing is. Look how quick it got up to 60. And we've got an IS to close in with. Me personally now, this is right-click aim territory now. Let's just get round this corner. Start putting the DPM to work on this tank. Maybe pausing just there may have been a bit better instead of going around the corner. I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Have we caught him by surprise? Yes, we have. Ramming, not a good idea. Now, the low-profile nature of this vehicle. This IS, I don't believe, has the gun depression to shoot him. I don't think he can hit him. And even if he does, he shot a little bit too late there. And with the help of the aero, managed to take this guy down. Now, this is it now. We've got 2 people that aren't spotted. Now, this is where Stevie makes his one and only mistake, in my personal opinion, in this game. We can learn from this, alright? This happens all the time, okay? It's a constant thing that happens. AFKers, alright? We're going to spot an AFK tank in the base. Now, Stevie is down to his premium shells. The AFK tank is not going to be an active part of the battle, but he's going to spot you. And this is where Stevie makes his only boo-boo. What he needs to do now is he pops over the ridge, sees the enemy tank. Now, problems. That's an AFK vehicle. Alright, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Our flak bus isn't spotted. He hasn't been spotted the whole game. Where's that guy going to be? All the action's down here? Yeah. The only tanks that we know about are here. And you're sitting in the open, spotted by this guy. I would personally, at this point, would have carried on into the buildings and put the buildings between me and the AFK tank. But again, 6 and 2 threes. Hindsight is 20/20. All right, very easy to think about this now. What he does, he basically sits there, DPMing down this tank. All right, which is, you know, free damage. We all like free damage, free XP. And then look at the map. Oh dear. Tracked in the open, we've got problems. But he has got a nice wreck there to hide behind. Thankfully, with the mobility of the vehicle and the support of the ARL, he manages to survive. When you did that, Stevie, my arse was going like a rabbit's nose, my friend. I was like, no. But we can learn from it. Those buildings would have been an absolute godsend. Now, you're kind of stuck here now. You've got a choice. Me, personally, I would sit in the cap at this point and let that tank come to you. All right, let him come to you. You can't see him. He's tank destroyer in cover. But we break cover. That flak bus has got a very, very, very strong 88mm. Thankfully, donks his first shot. But then you can't kill him in one shot and you're sitting in the open. No. Oh! That was unnecessary damage there. But never mind. Takes it down to a fraction of our health. For me, that was the only iffy part of the whole game. For me, you've done really, really well so far, but that was the only iffy bit. A tactical issue, but never mind. So, Stevie, can he net the last kill for a Top Gun? I wonder. Repositions himself behind the dead tank. This is to put pressure on the T-43. Now, the T-43 is on 3 kills. It's a garbage tank, but, you know, he's on 3 kills. Oh, but he's only got 184 health. Fantastic. We've got a 37 health ARL. Can the ARL get the kill? Can the ARL get the kill, or is Stevie going to get it? I don't think Stevie's interested at this point, but our A43, I think he's going to net it. Yep, A43 nets it. let's check the post-game stats out on that one then. So, that netted as a mastery badge. Fantastic. Alright, what else did it get us? Fire for effect, cause more damage to enemy vehicles and hit points of your vehicle. Fighter, 4 or 5 enemies, that's basically a baby Top Gun. Duelist and Bruiser. With a high caliber as well. High caliber medal. In a tank that does 150 damage per shot. 1460 base experience with 4000 damage. That, ladies and gentlemen, is bloody good work. Alright, so if you wanted to know what you need to do to get a mastery badge, 1460 base experience. Not really much to write home about that, because it's a premium tank. Even though we fired considerable amounts of premium ammunition, we still made 67,000 credits. Alright, not bad. Unfortunately, it wasn't ×2, but that's just standard experience with a premium account. Alright, that's going to go towards your crew training, make your crew even better. Fantastic. Alright, on to the next game. This is one of my games. Huzzah! Right then. My replay. There's me, Connor, and Skippy. We're all in E-25s. If you can get these things into a 3-man platoon, oh my god. Basically, our general plan was on this game to do the 1-2 line. Basically, hold the 1-2 line. There's massive amounts of bushes on that hill. Kidney Hill, which I named Kidney Hill, which is the 9-0 line, isn't really a good area to dominate in these tanks because of the gun depression issues. So we decided to go to the castle side. And there's quite a good split in the team as well. There's us on this side and a couple of tier 7s, a T29 and an ARL. And a VK thing comes over here as well. But everyone else tries to go to the other side and holds them for long enough. Now, bush positions, like we said about the camo rating. Where are the likely enemy positions going to be? Well, they're going to be around about here in G1, H1 area, and this kind of area here. So I need to use this red square, which is my mod. It tells me my maximum render range and my view range, which is the green circle. Alright, so that's what I basically position myself here for. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Now, Connor up there is being my dedicated scout, or he's being our dedicated scout, should I say, sitting up there on the hill to the left. Completely in the open. He gives zero shits. He's got binos, he don't care. Alright, he can see the maximum amount of view range, and then we spot a Cromwell. But that Cromwell does not spot him. And unfortunately, I missed my first shot. Hey-ho. Really good reload. Alright, doesn't matter. We can come back from this. T25-2, oh, these guys. These poor individuals. Get the DPM to work. Oh, only managed to score 2 hits on the T25-2 though. But that's some good damage early on. Good damage. Yeah, it's going to put him in the range of a couple more, well, about another 100 more hit points. It'll be a one-shot for anything but the 122 mil. Cromwell's being sneaky, and this E25. Oh my god, look at the amount of firepower and ordnance. He's bouncing shots. He's bouncing shots with his 50mm of armour. With its angling. It's not too shabby, the armour. It's not great. Don't rely on it, but it can. That E25 should have just died in one salvo there. What we're shooting at him. Look at what we're shooting at him. He should have just died. But anyway. What we're basically going to do for the first half of this game is we're going to dominate this flank. We're holding this flank. Okay, the ARL spotting for us. Connor's doing a great job up on the hill. And I tell in the chat, the arty, to focus to the side, because it looks like the enemy have concentrated most of their firepower on Kidney Hill. Now that Cromwell there does a really, really good thing. He spots an opening. Alright, unfortunately, we can relocate quite quickly. That guy is basically running down to get our artillery. There's 3 artillery in this game. And considering the amount of artillery, they don't really play that much of a part, to be honest with you. It's the threat of the artillery, though, that I think stagnates the game sometimes. I'm not going to get into that rant, don't worry. So we notice he's going for our artillery. The artillery notice it as well. Scream for help. So Skippy goes belting off to try and intercept Cromwell. And myself and Connor turn around and try and put some damage into him and relocate in here to try and save artillery. And Connor manages to kill him. Now this is when we decide, tactically, we're going to do tactics here. Yeah, tactics. Whatever next. We're going to flank between the river and the castle once we've dispatched this Lux. Alright, we don't want this Lux spotting us. Connor thankfully dispatched him. We're going to go to the left hand side of this castle now. Try and root out these enemy players. Skippy runs into my arse there. I swear he's driving in sniper view. He manages to ram into me. But never mind. And this is when we decide to go. Now this is what I mean about the second half of the game, which is why I kit out my tank the way I do. With the vents, the rammer and the optics. This is my favourite part of the game. Getting amongst it and generally just razzing around and causing absolute mayhem and havoc. You're no use to your binos and camnet when you're doing this. And that's the front of an M6.
Managed to go through it, and I bounced a shot from his 90mm. Is that the 90mm or is that the 75? I think that's a 90. And we're just, yeah, managed to hit Skippy there, but never mind. Never mind, really damaged him. Artillery takes a punt at us, and we're just going to absolutely wolf pack this T-25 2 down. And we're going flanking. And this is where the manoeuvrability of this vehicle comes in. Thankfully, the other flankers managed to hold long enough for us to sweep down, going for artillery. Got to kill the artillery, because we cannot, later on in the game, be having that fear of being shit on by artillery from a long distance. So the boys going to get this Crusader. I'm looking for the other artillery, but they're actually not where I thought they were. They're in a different part of the map. Hey ho, never mind. They could have been in that far corner. K1, K2 is a good position for artillery to sit because they can shoot with impunity down at C1, C2. But you know, the replay's getting quite glitchy now. This is, I don't know, the Wargaming really need to sort out this replay system. Alright, it's getting very glitchy and very buggy at the moment. And I'm not getting smooth replays out of it. It's really doing my head in. Anyway, we digress. So what else are we going to see? What else are we going to see? Artists realise that they're in trouble, so they've started to relocate. That's all good, but I don't think these guys on the flank are going to carry on because Skippy and Connor, which I mentioned at the time, went through the cap circle. Is this a good idea? Personally, it costs them. It costs them because what it does, it makes the guys turn round. Okay, the Hellcat, the KV3s, they're not bad players. They've realised that we're there, and they've turned to face. We could have really done with the fact that they carried on pushing into that open ground. I wanted to get to like an E9 and catch them in that open ground, hopefully going for our cap circle, but they've got our attention now, and unfortunately there's one of those bugs. Skippy pays the price. Alright, the 122 derpy guns managed to take him out. So I'm on the highest amount of health. We need to pressure this Hellcat. We do not want this guy shooting that 90mm at us. Thankfully Connor manages to DPM him down and puts him into a position for a one-shot. Now, I should have shot the Hellcat first, but I saw the KV3 first, unfortunately. Let's just stop the Hellcat. Unfortunately, didn't manage to stop the KV3 from taking out Connor. I could have done without those bounces there, but thankfully artillery manages to take shave a little bit of health off just before. Now I'm alone against a KV3. Right click aim, don't care if I miss. I want artillery. I got a chance to put 2 rounds into him. Finish him off with a ram. Take a significant chunk of my own health off though, which is kind of silly. Thankfully, artillery shit on him from a distance. Okay, GG. Post-game stats. Wasn't no mastery badge, but you know, class 2 in a tank like this at the time when I played this game, everybody's playing this tank because it's leaving the game. Alright, so I've seen a lot more of these things over the last couple of days. So, 3,262 for my ×2, not too bad, and 60,000 credits made. 2nd class mastery badge, fighter, duelist, fire for effect, and bruiser. Okay, not a bad effort at all. Team score then, not quite along the same realms as Stevie's replay. Didn't get as much damage, but look at those kills. One shy of a crucial contribution. Apart from the artillery and our T-29, we killed, and the T-29 and the Panzer IV, we killed everybody. Yeah. Okay. Made 52,000 credits, didn't bang any premium through it. Did a lot less damage than Stevie did. Still made more money. I didn't carry as much premium ammunition. Did I need it in that game? It would have helped against the KV3s, I think. But then again, I run the premium tank to make gold. So therefore, you know, I'm not going to be spending on premium. So, time for a conclusion then. So, what did you think to the Mighty Mole? Do you agree with my equipment setup? Do you disagree? I don't know. Did you like what you saw? If you do, alright, get your butts onto the premium shop. Alright, go and buy one. I will do a little bit of a clip on the actual premium shop. I'm just going to double check how much it's actually worth. I'll go back to that in a minute. So, Tier 7 tank destroyer that has excellent camo rating, excellent mobility, and excellent rapid fire and high DPM gun that gives you extra credits, extra experience, and basically is an absolute giggle to drive. What's not to like, guys? What do you think to the E-25? Is it worth the money? My vote is damn right, yes it is. Let's go and check out the premium shop just to see how much it actually costs at the moment. Right, in conclusion then, there you have it. The proof is in the pudding. 29% discount. This offer will expire in 5 days. And I believe after the 5 days is gone, guys, you will no longer be able to get this tank. The only way you can get this tank now is through the premium shop. Okay, and it's 14 quid, guys. It's less than 15 quid.
It is £20 normally, but it's on 29% discount. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you can afford it, if you have a spare £15 in your bank, buy this vehicle. It is so much fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed that Reddit review, guys. 5 days to get one. Get your asses onto the premium shop and get it. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye now.